For the battered but proud people of the Empire State, from the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and today we've got Kevin Wilson here for our Talk of the Town. Kevin, thanks for being here.
Thanks for letting me be on your radio show, Andrew.
Kevin, you've been on the show so much. We gotta get like a little T-shirt with your name on it, I think.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. Actually, you know, Sean, who usually joins Kevin on Fridays, keeps talking about we gotta do like a Radio Free New York get together where we just kind of say, hey, come meet and hang out with us at like Charlotte Beach or something. Yeah. And I think it's a great idea. I'm worried we'd probably all just get arrested or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. All right, finally, we got them all in one place.
Yeah, absolutely. All those freedom-loving people all in one spot, and, you know, all the social distancing or not social distancing, the mask wearing or not mask wearing, all that craziness.
Yeah. No, but we should do it. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. You know, we'll all get together. You know, we'll hang out. We'll talk radio stuff. We'll get some of that direct feedback. Be a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Hopefully in a couple weeks. I don't even know. Have they even discussed Phase 4 yet? I'm kind of like tuning the governor out at this point. I saw who's doing his live stream. He had like 130 people watching it, which I thought was hilarious. Wow. Because weeks ago it was like 12 and 20,000.
Yeah. So. I think he's thinking of stopping those. Like it's kind of outlived his political usefulness. So he's discussing maybe only doing it when there's news. So supposedly Phase 4 is supposed to come 2 weeks after Friday because we started Phase 3 now, but only if the metrics continue to make sense. But we'll see. And you know, we also get stuff with city governments and county governments opening stuff up too, because, you know, technically in Rochester, all the parks are supposed to be open, but the park next to my house is all chained up still. You know, you can't play basketball, can't play tennis, any of that stuff. The governor said it was okay to play tennis like a month ago, and I still can't go out and play tennis.
Yeah, you know, I have a school near my house, and they keep the tennis course locked up. They keep the track locked up. And I'm thinking, come on, like, we as taxpayers, we pay for this, right? So why is it locked up? And then if they were to say, oh, well, it's because of, you know, coronavirus, I mean, could you imagine a sport more social distance than, like, running on a track? I mean,
yeah, right.
You know, besides maybe horseshoes or something. So,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason for it. And actually, while we're on the topic, I sent that video to you just before the show. In New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio welding playground gates shut.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was frustrating because this morning I literally went on a walk this morning. I'm gonna try to start running or something. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of running, but I think I need to start. So I was like, I'll start small. You know, I'll go for a walk this morning and tell myself, it's not so bad. And so that's when I saw it, because I knew the track was up here. I saw the track was chained up, and I saw the tennis courts were chained up, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, how terrible is it that we pay for all this stuff, and government is literally putting these big fences around things that we've paid for and putting locks and chains on them, even though, once again, we paid for them. And then, like, not even an hour later, you send me that link, and here I am watching now a video of the government paying people to weld the gates shut to keep children off of the playground that we paid to build.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Ridiculous. Now, of course, what the community down there did, so that was taking place in the Hasidic Jewish community down in New York City. And so what they did is they got out a bunch of bolt cutters and they busted down the gate.
Yep.
So they ended up getting it unwelded. They had it chained up and everything too. So they cut open the chains. They had a New York State Assemblyman down there too, cheering it on, saying, "Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Like, you have tens of thousands of people out in the streets protesting Black Lives Matter. Okay, but like these kids can't play on the playground with like, basic protections. What's the deal with that?
It's almost like Play-Doh, right? No matter how much you squish it, it tries to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
like, and I feel like that's what government is doing with their control and their power right now. They're like losing it, and like people are pressing in and trying to make it smaller. And so government's just kind of shooting out in other little areas, doing other bad things. And it's like, well, we can't have control over the streets, so we're going to lock down the playground. And them kids, they can't play on there. It's not safe. What? No, we own this. What are you doing?
Yeah, stop making sense. Again, and in some places, and I think I talked about this maybe Thursday or Friday, it's just hilarious. They'll put like just a police tape around the playgrounds, and they'd be like, "Oh, don't do this," and that was
just a waste of money.
Yeah, it's like you sent someone out to go put police tape. That was gone in like 24 hours. You kidding me?
Yeah.
No one.
And I can't fathom the rationale behind it. Like, somebody made that decision. Somebody sat there and probably told somebody to do it. I'm sure somebody didn't just get up themselves and be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go rope off the playground. No, somebody's supervisor probably instructed them, hey, go out and do that. Yeah. And that person probably was like, you sure? Because I don't really want to do that. Or maybe they were like, yeah, you know what, let's lock this down, let's keep these kids out, I don't know which one, but
it's definitely hurting kids, hurting families, especially like there are kids in my neighborhoods. They live in I know small apartments. The park next to my house is their only outlet for getting out. Have backyards to go out and play with, so again, it hurts kids in our community. And I think it could have been solved better with like parents, know the risks, make sure that your kid, if they're above 2, is wearing a mask, or, make sure you're washing their hands frequently. Instead what they did is they shut off the water fountains, they closed off the porta potties, they, closed off the bathrooms, and all this ridiculous stuff that makes it even harder for you to have a safe, enjoyable experience with this stuff that we're paying for.
Yeah, I just don't get it. It's so frustrating too. Like, I look at it and I get frustrated, and the best thing I can do, I guess, is just laugh about how ridiculous this is, and how like people are going to read about this in history books and they're not going to believe it. They're going to be like, oh, you're just reading, the latest copy of The Onion. And they'll be like, no, this was American history. Like, this happened up the street. Like, this is how backwards things were, and people like bowed to it, like, yes, please give us more, give us more government oppression and restriction, like, we want to be so safe, like, please lock up our playgrounds, take away our jobs, lock us in our homes, yell at us when we leave, shut down the businesses when they try to open, like, please just give me a little more government.
Yeah, all this is ridiculous. And I keep joking that I'm going to make like a photo album of stuff that would alarm people if we sent it back to the year 2005. Just ridiculous stuff like that. Like the welding the playground shut. It includes some highlights like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer sitting there with the, what do you call it, the scarves on and the masks, which is just... Yep. Imagine trying to explain that to someone in 2005 and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, police in the streets, things on fire, cop cars flipped over, just like everything. Like a supermarket full of people wearing masks. Those clear plastic dividers. Yeah, like anything. Like if you put that up, with no context whatsoever, even last year, people wouldn't recognize that as the United States of America.
Yeah. It would just look totally foreign. Bizarre thing. Yeah. But, I don't know. I think in conclusion, privatize the parks. That's where I really wanted to go with that conversation. Privatize the parks so we don't have this ridiculous stuff.
Absolutely. I'd be game for that. And you know what? Give them to the community even. You know, we just
government is just community, isn't it?
Government
Andrew?
is an oppressive force, Kevin. That's, at this point, they're certainly not being helpful. So, all right, guys, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in a moment. We've got a lot more to talk about, guys. We've got some memes to talk about, some infographics, some stuff going on in our town that's probably going on in your town. So we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
An hour of...
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
I'm Las from Action Towing and Service. We are the biggest towing company in New York State, but we do a lot more than just towing. We will tow just about anything, but we will also repair just about anything as well. We offer a courtesy shuttle and pickup. We offer a drop box service. We have all these amenities that we've put in place to make sure that every one of our customers can receive the best service possible. Please give us an opportunity to win your business. Come down and visit us at 275 Marketplace Drive, right off of Jefferson Road.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin Wilson here with us as well.
Howdy.
And I just want to welcome everybody who's listening on the live stream right now. I see you guys here in the comments, some of you on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And, of course, everybody who's listening on podcast, on live radio, on pre-recorded radio, all over the place. Welcome to the show. Just before we took break, we were talking about just weird things. I call them weird things, but I guess they're just reality at this point. Things that if you took pictures of and showed to somebody 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or however many years back you want to go, with no context whatsoever, people would just be kind of like mind blown. They wouldn't know what they were looking at. They would think they're looking at maybe some foreign society. They would probably say things like, well, that could never happen in America. But that's clearly all been proven false at this point. Greg on Facebook actually mentions, don't forget, no toilet paper.
The great toilet paper crisis of 2020.
Yep. I hope that makes it into the history books. Like, I hope someday I'm like teaching my child about like how there's a toilet paper drought. I think pretty entertaining. But there's some other stuff going on too, which you guys aren't foreign to, which is all of this police reform that's being proposed across the country. I guess I can't say everywhere in the country because I don't really know that all of the countries, proposing it, but we're seeing reform proposals popping up all over the place. Our city is not immune to that. City of Rochester's looking at it. Your city or town or county may be looking at this as well. And we talked at length last week about this, abolish the police or defund the police movement. And Kevin's got some information here about City of Rochester and some of the stats and things like that and what City Council's talking about doing with our police force.
Yeah, so we got a couple things going on, and it's interesting to see like how this manifests itself in different ways. So, I'm going to talk about the City of Rochester stuff because I'm familiar with that. I don't know if anyone's bringing this up to like other police departments like Irondequoit or Greece or East Rochester or anything. A lot of towns in Monroe County don't actually have police forces, like Pittsford and Henrietta just don't have them. And they like to save the money from that, which is an interesting conversation around that and how much they need policing. But I attended the rally on Saturday that the basically we'll just call it Black Lives Matter rally. And on Saturday there's a couple of them going on. Interesting to watch. They're really focused on the phrase "all Black Lives Matter." They're kind of talking about the trans and gay experience and as it relates to being black. And then Danielle Ponder, who is a defense attorney in Rochester, gave a speech on defunding the police, and kind of some of the main points of her speech have been turned into an image that's been going around lefty circles. And one of their rallying cries is, "We want a refund."
Where have I heard that before?
Yeah. Now, we want a refund. By that, they do not mean cut the budget and give us our money back. They mean cut the budget and give it to other city employees. So that's what they mean by a refund.
I think this is important to highlight here because many, many times I bring up, and I think it's hard to come up with examples on the fly, but I'll say, when you look at people on the right and you look at people on the left, there's actually a lot of things they agree on. It's just kind of like maybe even the end result they agree on, but the way to get there they disagree on, or maybe they agree on most stuff, but the end result they want a little bit differently. I think it's fair to say that many of us want to see less spending. Well, no, let me rephrase. Right. The spending part is the difference. I think overall people on the right would probably say, and libertarians included, of course, would say, yeah, we should be reducing the budget. And now the left is coming in and saying, yes, let's reduce the budget, but they have no intent on reducing the spending. They just want to shift it somewhere else, and that's where the difference is. So there's a piece there where you could start having the conversation, saying, hey, you know what? If we reduce the budget, why don't we also reduce spending? And maybe that's a good segue. You find some common ground and you take the next step, because they're moving at least in a direction that there could be a little bit of agreeance.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, as a libertarian, when someone says we want to cut the budget of something by 50%, you know, you got my attention.
Excited.
Yeah, I'm like, all right,
yeah,
cool,
let's go.
So,
Come on.
and that's again the movement in Rochester is calling for that specifically. They say that there should be a 50% reduction in the Rochester Police Department budget, because the Rochester Police Department is spending $100 million a year, you know, for their operations, which is not actually all that much by comparing to other cities, but it's still a lot of money.
It sounds like a lot of money. Yeah, I guess I don't know what other departments spend, but $100 million that sounds like a lot of money.
Major cities are in the like tens to hundreds of billions of dollars.
Holy crap! Is that is
The
population
bigger
comparable?
populations. No. So not like so. Rochester's spending a lot of money. The city gets other things too, like military equipment from the 1033 program. Rochester has its own MRAP for our police. I don't know if we have the grenade launchers for the schools, though. I don't know if we got
I was
those.
wondering about that. We talked about that yesterday, actually.
Someone's going to ask, you know, are the school resource officers equipped with grenade launchers? I don't know. That's a good question. That seemed a bit excessive to me. I'm just saying that's one guy's opinion, but maybe a bit much.
At $100 million budget, we're talking. There's about 200,000 people in the city of Rochester, so everybody's share is $500 a year. That's what it boils down to. So each of us, and that includes like children and stuff. I don't know what the population for adults is. It's actually, I think school-age children, there's about 30,000. So probably the adult population's 170 or 160,000. So you look at that, we're all paying at least $500 a year. And so they're saying, hey, we want a refund. So city's not going to cut everybody a check for $250, right? That's not what they're asking for.
Unfortunately.
So what are they asking for?
So they're asking for those resources to be sent elsewhere, to mental health, to libraries, to social services. You know, it depends on, you know, who you're asking. Sometimes they're vague, and but mostly the argument is, well, maybe we shouldn't have police handle all of the crimes. And what's interesting, when Danielle Ponder was giving the speech at the rally, they were talking about like the crime that RPD addresses most often is petty larceny, right? So if someone's stealing an item worth less than $1,000, usually it's from a store. So it's like someone shoplifting, right? So that's the crime but they clear about 10% of those cases. So of every 100 that the RPD investigates, only 10 of those they'll actually figure out who it is. But they spend a lot of time on those. That's where the most arrests come from. And they made the argument, why do these multi-billion-dollar companies need the RPD to help them out? And I'm like, okay, so what's the actual tangible alternative to that? We could just say, you know, privatize the police. We could say, okay, if you're, you know, a company that if you want to investigate someone for larceny, you do that, and you take them to civil court, and instead of taking them to prison, you just try to get the value out of them that way. Is that a better system? I mean, that's kind of privatizing the police. That's, to me, I'm like, okay, like, fine, but like, do you know what you're actually arguing for?
Yeah, some people probably don't realize. I mean, Walmart, for example, has pretty good loss prevention. Walmart has also extensive resources. I don't think that you're going to find many mom and pop shops providing their own personal security. I think what you'll see is maybe more of them trying to carry firearms in their store. And I'm not sure how that'll change. I've been in stores, so I've grown up in the city my whole life, and I go to stores and the owner is open carrying, you know, so everybody knows, like, hey, don't mess with me. There's a liquor store on Dewey. When things get busy, they have armed security there, open carrying there in the shop, so that people know, hey, you can't break into this place. Don't try to steal something. Like, we're armed and we're ready to protect ourselves and our merchandise. So maybe that's the direction things would go. I don't know. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Twice the power. More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. Another beauty out there with tons of sunshine. Nice and mild. We'll get up well into the 70s for a high this afternoon. For tonight, mainly clear. We'll drop back into the low to mid 50s. Still very pleasantly cool. On Wednesday, another gorgeous day with sunshine, temps in the low 80s, warming up into the 80s to near 90 Thursday and Friday. I'm Rich Scadelia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods for dogs and cats, bird feeders, suet, and dry shot boots and garden shoes. They've got grass and clover seed too. Check out their frequent flyer birdseed program. Buy 10 bags of birdseed, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products like Blue Seal and Nutrina, plus pull and grains. Everything for your pet, from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have: Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. And if you think you'll save money at that pet superstore, well, think again. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget the two-legged pets with River Wrap 1,000 Allen cheese and great flavors including hard-to-find mean and nasty. Plus, once again, nut butters, Nunde mustards, and Rickles pickles. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
There's no need to get beat up on the job. Available at C&B Mower in Lima, the all-new Ferris ISX 3300 commercial mower features the industry's most advanced independent suspension system. 4 front, 4 steel control rods ensure the caster tires follow the terrain and remain vertical for reduced caster chatter. This allows you to mow faster and get more done while staying comfortable so you can finish the day feeling good. Productivity doesn't end there. The Vanguard oil system provides less maintenance and more performance by extending oil change intervals to 500 hours. The Oil Guard system provides extended engine life and over 60% oil service savings per unit per season. So stop by C&B Mower routes 5 and 20 just east of the village of Lima today to see how the Ferris ISX 3300 has your back. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
Our community is strong. Even when we can't be together, we stand together as families, neighbors, and local businesses helping each other. As an essential business and community partner, Tompkins is here for you with online and mobile banking, programs to help our lending customers, and peace of mind, knowing that our focus is you. We're here to help you stay strong, get through this, and rebuild. For our customers and for our community, Tompkins Bank of Castile is here.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. When you feel sick for whatever reason, don't wait to get help. Noise Health Urgent Care now offers telemedicine appointments using your device to meet with a provider face-to-face from the comfort of your home. Call 585-243-9595 to schedule an appointment. Noise Health Urgent Care is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, even weekends and holidays. Walk-ins welcome at our Geneseo location, 50 East South Street. Digital X-ray available too. Noise Health Urgent Care. Your health care, your way.
The Livingston County Reproductive Health Center offers free or low-cost confidential health care for adults and teens. The Reproductive Health Center can help you prevent or plan a pregnancy, provide STD testing, and more. Day and evening appointments available. Call 585-243-7540 today.
My name is Stephanie Ingalls, and I'm a team member at Tom Wall's Brighton. I'll take the time to make you root beer float that will bring you back to carefree Sunday afternoon drives of your youth. Will you take the time to join us with your family?
Tom Wall's, 9 locations in the metro.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Got Kevin Wilson here with us, and
Hello.
we're just talking about what happens if you defund the police, or what happens if you reduce the police by 50%. That's what people are talking about, and you know the statistics are pretty interesting. The stuff that they're using, the stuff that Kevin sent over. I'll read some of the things that kind of caught my eye here. First is, once again, this is for City of Rochester. This is where Kevin and I are from. 86% of adult arrests by Rochester Police Department are misdemeanors. And what they're saying here is that there's a misconception that RPD spends most of its time handling dangerous criminals. And that's not the case because of this 86% number. I don't know if that conception exists or not. I don't know that if that's a commonly accepted thing that they spend the majority of their time working on dangerous, violent criminals. I haven't heard that, but you know, I couldn't say one way or another. But you know me, I'm not a fan of laws that have victimless crimes. And if there's going to be a lot of victimless crimes, then yeah, I want those gone. And if we could get the police enforcing other things that involve victims and violence, that I'm on board with that.
Yeah, focus on that stuff. Focus on getting the clearance rate higher for those. Because the clearance rate for it, which means they actually solved the case, caught the person, and you know that person is going through the criminal justice system. It's pretty low.
Yeah, yeah. So then the next thing that I have here on this this nice little infographic that they put together. It's actually not that nice though. It's kind of blurry.
Yeah.
They need a digital marketing expert, Kevin. I
know.
Might know somebody. So it says violent crimes make up only 7% of crimes. The most common crime in Rochester is property crime, specifically larcenies, which is pretty interesting. So violent crimes make up only 7% of crimes. That's interesting to me because Rochester's always had a very high crime rate. At one point in time, we were called the murder capital of the state. So that's kind of interesting to me.
Like to me, I read this and it's a little bit misleading because it's not surprising that there are a lot more small crimes than big crimes, right? Like if there are many murders as larcenies, then like this would be literally a war zone.
Yep.
Like it's just not going to happen, right? So like larcenies, that's again, anytime someone steals anything, that's basically what it is. As long as you're not like actually breaking into something, if you're taking something out of a store or, taking something from someone's front yard or, whatever. So like, I'm part of a neighborhood group and we used to have a community police officer come in and kind of read off the crime reports and answer any questions. And so that's what they would always tell us, like, oh, okay, well, there was 10 larcenies this past month, and then there were 9 the month before, and there were, 12 the year before, the same month, whatever, and then they would tell us what the larcenies were. And usually it's someone left their car door open and someone opened it up and grabbed something inside, or someone stole a folding chair off a lawn, that type of stuff. And so it's usually almost always larcenies. Occasionally it's, I forget what the name for it. It's like aggravated something, like basically someone like says, give me your money type of thing. Occasionally that'll happen, but usually it's only a couple a year in my neighborhood in the city.
Yeah, and when I worked with the Charlotte Community Association, I was actually their public safety liaison with the city, and we had something pretty similar where the officers would kind of give us a report, compare it, from the year before, the month before, talk about what they thought would change trends. A lot of times they thought it was weather. So they'd be like, hey, based on last year, the same time of year was a lot colder, so we're, expecting more crime because people will be out more. Absolutely. Their final bolded point here, which is a little comical, but they've got the numbers here. They're trying to make a compelling argument, and they say, well, the police are just really bad at solving crime. That's the conclusion that they draw, and they say, well, they only clear 29% of crimes. And then they say, 20% of non-fatal shootings get cleared, and 10% of larcenies, which is their highest issue, get cleared. And so they say, imagine doing only 20% of your job and being rewarded. And then they bring up an officer who's making like almost $94,000 a year, and then say, well, time to cut funding by 50%. So that's their message. That's their thing. What are your thoughts, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is. It's tough, right? Like I get frustrated with that too. There's that joke, like, without police, who's gonna show up 2 hours after you're robbed, take a report, and then never contact you again? Like, it's just been my experience every time I've reported a crime. Like, that's what happened. Like, oh, someone threw like a can of Axe body spray through my front window. Real thing, actually happened. And like, when I called 911, they're like, oh, well, just call 311 tomorrow, make a report. And I'm like, okay, well, is anything going to be done about this? You gonna send anyone out? They're like, no, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I had
all right, cool,
pieces of concrete thrown through my truck window at one time. It was the same thing. They didn't even get back to me for like 3 days, and they're like, well, was anything stolen? They probably wanted the stereo. I'm like, nope, they just literally threw concrete. They're like, oh yeah, sorry, nothing they can do.
Yeah, so we'll document it in the crime stats. Have a nice day.
Yep.
Okay,
for sure.
Cool. So you can contact your insurance company. And that's how it is. So like, you got to wonder, like, does it make sense to have officers even go out and do that stuff? Can you trim the fat with that type of stuff, or can you have private security go investigate, document, make reports? Can you have insurance companies do it? Because that's what those big stores do, right? And Jay was talking about how one of our commenters online, he was saying they generally don't stop people stealing stuff. They just get as much as possible on video and report it to police. So you make a report to police, and then you have this report, and you go through the insurance company, and that's that's the process, right? Like, most of the time police aren't even going after these guys, and you can't but wonder, okay, like, so maybe it's not even a bad thing that the police don't have a huge larceny clearance rate. It's just people need to take responsibility, protect their assets, and then expect that like insurance companies or private security are really what's going to be filling the gap in these situations, because that's basically what's already happening, although we are paying police to do other things.
Yeah, so one of the things is it may be time to adjust expectations. And maybe the police should say, hey, you know what? This isn't a police matter. Because they either don't have the resources, don't have the funding, don't have the policies, don't have the protocols. There's something here where you can talk to just about anybody about the response times on these like non-life threatening calls, at least where we live.
One of the issues I want to bring up, fireworks. That's an issue. Do police need to be the ones that handle the fireworks, right? Like, is that like a legitimate function? Do the police need to go out and tell you to knock that crap off? And look, guys, let me tell you, if you're living in any city in like pretty much anywhere right now, people are going nuts at fireworks. I don't know like what memo got sent out, but like it's constant. just all the
here's
time.
Here's the thing. If everybody can do the fireworks, which I don't actually have a problem with it. I see in a lot of the community groups, actually I'm in your neighborhood community group, Kevin, and I see like every day there's like 6 posts there, and my neighborhood community group too. And somebody even mentioned the other day, should we just change this to the firearms complaint group? Like, you know, and I get it's like disruptive to people. I don't know what the answer is, but if it's gonna keep going on, like, I want the right to put a private range in my backyard because I'll be less disruptive and it'll be a little bit quieter than the fireworks. I'm just saying. You know?
That seems very reasonable to me, Andrew. I think so. I support your right to do that. I will.
I could even do it safely.
Yeah. No.
So. You know,
no, well, Andrew, like next project, we're gonna get a variance for that. We're gonna
I've
make
thought
it
about it. I've measured it out. It meets city compliance. The only thing missing would be a signature from the police chief, which I know I'm not gonna get. So.
All right, no, that's gonna happen. I think we need to all focus our energy on that.
Yep. Maybe I'll start a GoFundMe. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, so the question is, like, should the police be the ones to enforce this? As we're talking about this, and actually I think Jay mentioned in the Facebook feed here, he says, seems that the police are doing a lot of admin work, a lot more than is necessary. Same for like motor vehicle collisions. Do they actually need a cop for a fender bender? And this is one of those situations, I think, where government is so far behind technology right now. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to just snap a couple pictures with your phone, upload a description of what happened with your address, everything, and file your own crime report online. Yeah. And it could be triaged appropriately. If the police aren't going to come out anyways, why waste valuable tax dollar resources in having somebody answer the phone to type the report for you, which I get some people still need that, but these are things that we could minimize and make government better, more efficient, and give people just like a realistic expectation of what they should expect from the police when they file a report. Guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Fiorella, a family-owned farm-to-table Italian restaurant at the Rochester Public Market, is open for curbside contactless takeout Wednesday through Saturday. Lunch 11:30 to 2 and dinner 4 to 8. Fiorella offers wood-fired, old-world-style pizza with naturally leavened dough and house-made fresh pasta. Check out our Facebook and Instagram at Restaurant Fiorella for nightly specials. Thursday is gnocchi night. Call 434-5705. View the takeout menu on the web, restaurantfiorella.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin Wilson here. We just finished talking about what people are asking for in the city of Rochester. I'm not sure how many people are asking for it, but they've got an infographic floating around. They're out there, they're protesting. They're saying defund the police, take 50% of their budget, shift it somewhere else in government. I'm a firm believer that government's really bad at spending our money, but you know, that's a different show. Yeah. Kevin, what's city council doing?
So city council is not doing that. So as much as I'm sympathetic to the idea of cutting a significant amount of a government agency, it's probably not going to happen. So what city council is doing, and there's I'll share a link to a tweet for any of you listening online from a local reporter here that has the actual facts here, so you can look at yourself. This is what we're looking at. They're proposing a 4% overall cut in the budget, so definitely pretty far from 50%. 4% is, of course, much. It's
depends
something.
On how
it's
you
something.
Do your Common Core math, Kevin. It could be close.
Yeah. It is a few $1 million to be $3.6 million. So it's technically 3.7% of the budget. They're eliminating the school resource officer program. And they're not actually eliminating the officer positions. They're just shifting back to other positions and pulling them out of school so that the school budget can be reduced. It's less about...
So no grenade launchers in the schools? Is that what's
presumably? Well, yeah, no presumably. Publicly funded grenade launchers in the schools. So
all right.
And so they're creating a chief equity officer position. That's
doesn't
more
the city already have one of those?
It's a chief diversity officer. Thank you very much.
Oh,
and it was the person who was fired from the SUNY school from Brockport.
Brockport. So you're gonna have to school me on the difference, Kevin.
I'll get back to you. But they're gonna make it more equitable, guys.
Okay.
All right. Andrew, are you against equality?
I love equality. Andrew? I just, some of these titles are getting confusing.
Andrew, why aren't you down with the cause?
I'm just, maybe I'm not woke enough. I don't know. No, I think that absolutely we should have, equal application of justice and all of that. I just don't know, why are we going to hire somebody to do that? Why don't we fix the root causes that create that in the system instead of just hiring somebody's buddy, somebody's uncle or nephew or something like that and going, there we go, we spent $100,000 on this position, you'll all be equal now. Yep. That just sounds like...
And Andrew, they're not stopping there. Yeah, I know you're thinking, they're just
okay.
All right. They're just going to hire this person and stop there. No. You know what else they're doing? They're creating a task force. A task force.
I love it.
Yes. So they're going to... the task force should research best practices across the country that address the root causes of the problems we face, collect data, engage the community, and generate actionable steps with timelines that discuss how we could reimagine policing in our community. Hooray.
We could save a lot of money if they just listen to Radio Free New York.
I know, right?
I'm just saying.
Why don't all city governments just get their policy from Radio Free New York? I
don't know.
What are you guys doing?
This is spend a lot of money. So they're going to create a task force, which is going to spend probably six figures, I'm thinking, doing Google searches. And then they're going to put together a report that'll be, I don't know, let's call it 94 to 300 pages long, that they're not going to implement, or what's much more likely is they're going to say, you know, we need another report to make sure that this report is accurate, and they will create a commission or some other investigative body to confirm that the data from the first report is correct. And somewhere along the lines, that people will forget what's going on and not hold these elected officials accountable yet again.
And somehow it will have cost us like $20 million in the process.
Yes. Which will end up being way more money than they took away from the police budget.
Yep, absolutely. And so they are cutting one actual thing. So they're cutting the next RPD class in half, so 50%, and they're going to divert $750,000 to something else. And then they're going to add $130,000 to recreation use services from the police overtime that's used for like special events, which right now they don't really need. So not sure if that's actually related to police reform in any way. I think it's just that people aren't using police for special events because they don't exist.
Well, it's a good way for them to say, hey, look, we're doing something.
Sure is. So that's what's going to happen. Now, guys, before we go into this anymore, I know at least one of you asked about when are we going to talk about the state level stuff. We are going to talk about it. If not tomorrow, then definitely Thursday. I will be talking about it 100%. So
there you go.
We'll talk about state level stuff because there's a bunch of stuff there that I think is mostly virtue signaling and empty promises, including. But I will mention one is that Governor Cuomo issued an executive court order saying that if municipalities didn't reform their police departments, that there would be budget consequences, that they could lose money. He wasn't very specific on what that was. He just said reform, whatever that means. It means whatever the governor wants to mean.
Yeah, that's kind of that slippery slope where politicians just say, "Hey, this thing is going to happen," and people say, "Well, how do you define this thing?" And they go, "Whatever I want." And that's typically what happens. So now Cuomo will have this thing to dangle over any of the department's heads and say, well, if you don't do what I want, then you're not following this executive order. And he'll be able to have control as he already does.
Yep. No, that's just pretty much how it goes. It's just, I don't know. I think it's mostly about looking like they're doing something so they can claim they're on the right side of history and then sit on their hands and do nothing.
Yeah. I also saw in the city council paperwork there that they were kind of like touting that they had 75% of city council supporting the police accountability board.
Well, 75% of Rochester. The voters voted overwhelmingly for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I misunderstood that.
Going back to that discussion, the police accountability board right now kind of lost its teeth. It can't issue punishments on its own. And that's because the Rochester Locust Club is challenging that, and that's the local Rochester Police Union. So they're saying that they can't. The Police Accountability Board can't legally met out punishment, and I mean that's a bigger discussion too. Police unions are a whole thing that needs to be kind of looked at, that's an interesting issue to take a look at, and how they can end up protecting bad officers and bad practices in a lot of situations. And they are also going to be
on the show too. We could ask them some questions.
Yeah, that could be a good time. And that's they promised to look at changing the police union contracts too, but that's probably not going to happen. The city council says they're going to look at changing the police union contracts, but they are not specific about what they want to change. So I'm betting nothing is actually going to happen.
Yeah, it's just like when politicians say, "I'm going to pass this resolution against something bad." And then they kind of wipe their hands from it and go, "Oh, there I did. I signed a paper saying that was bad. I've done my civic duty."
Yep.
And it's terrible.
Mission accomplished, guys.
Yep.
Back it up.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow.